This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes.
And I'm Anthony Germain. We start tonight with an NDP shuffle. Longtime MHA and former NDP leader Lorraine Michael is stepping aside.
And she's doing it to make way for the NDP's new leader.
I am here to say that I will not be seeking re-election to the House of Assembly in 2019.
Michael made the announcement this morning at the Holiday Inn in St. John's.
She's stepping aside so that newly elected leader Alison Coffin can have a shot at winning a seat inside the House of Assembly. And Coffin will be running in Michael's former district, St. John's East Kitty-Vitty.
Michael has held the seat since 2006, and it's considered an NDP stronghold. But the party leader is not the only one interested in running.
Now, just last week, the Deputy Mayor of St. John's, Sheila O'Leary, announced that she wanted the NDP nomination in St. John's East Kitty-Vitty, and that move seemed to catch Michael off guard.
At the time, Michael said she planned to run again, but would step aside if Alison Coffin wanted to try for the seat.
Now, Coffin says the party has reached out to O'Leary to discuss options.
We've had a thorough discussion with her, and we have invited her to join our team as we plan to have a successful slate of candidates for the next election. We've opened the door to all kinds of discussion and are certainly willing to hear what she would like to do and if she would like to take part in our endeavors.
Well, CBC News reached out to Sheila O'Leary to talk about those endeavors, but Ms. O'Leary said she had no comments.
And later on Here and Now, I'll talk to Lorraine Michael about this decision that's coming up in about 30 minutes. Well, in other news, taxpayers are covering the legal fees MHA's billed during the harassment scandal. It's about $100,000 all in, but there appears to be a discrepancy. Here and Now's Katie Breen joins us now in studio. So, Katie, just who billed the government?
Well, people on both sides of the scandal. Some of the accusers and both of the accused. Here's who charged what. PCMHA Tracy Perry, who says she faced harassment and intimidation from MHA Eddie Joyce, racked up $12,502 in legal fees. Liberal Pam Parsons, who made accusations against Dale Kirby, spent $2,219. Liberal MHA Sherry Gambin-Walsh, who also felt bullied by Joyce, had $14,559 in legal fees. Then, $26,277 from independent MHA Dale Kirby, who was one of the accused. He ended up apologizing to the House of Assembly after the investigation. So, who decided those legal fees would be covered? A group called the Management Commission. They're made up of 6 MHAs, 3 in government, 3 in opposition, and they decide how the money is spent. Their decision was made in private and off-the-record meetings, but the second accused in the harassment scandal, he went a different route. MHA Eddie Joyce says his legal fees cost less than $50,000, but around that figure, roughly the same as all the others combined. And he says the Department of Justice is picking up the tab.
They are covered, yeah. It's Department of Justice. Because at the beginning, when I put it in there, there was no commitment from the Speaker, so it was just normal for any minister to go through Department of Justice.
Now, that's all news to the Speaker of the House. He heads up the Management Commission, and today he said that group is Joyce's only option. So it's unclear why or how the Justice decided to foot the bill.
All right, thank you very much, Katie.
No problem.
I can tell you that the Management Commission has not reimbursed him, and that would be the only venue for him to seek and receive revenue.
And actually, I just got off the phone with the Justice Department, and they say they're looking into it. But if that is the case, it will cost taxpayers about $100,000 in legal fees for a process even the Premier is dissatisfied with. Guys?
Thank you. Now we're done.
Now we're done. Yeah, it's over now.
Thanks, Katie. Well, there was a long line of cabs parked outside the House of Assembly today, but they weren't there to pick up passengers. Cabbies were venting about the cost of insurance. Some say they pay as much as $1,000 a month to insure their vehicles. Spokesperson Joe White says he pays nearly $7,000 a year, and he's never had an accident, despite driving millions of kilometers. The province says it is working on the problem, but White says that's not good enough. He wants government to order the Facility Association, which ensures most of the taxi industry, to treat drivers according to their individual driving record.
What happens when everybody leaves Confederation Building here today, and those people, I have another 5-letter word, but I won't say it, but those people at Confederation Building refuse to do anything. Nothing. They're no good for nothing. What's going to happen? Like, if Facility Association decides they want to increase my insurance again next month, we have no say. Those people have a monopoly.
Now, staying with politics, or not too far from where Joe was there on the Confederation Building, a story about the delay in banning plastic bags that Here and Now brought you last evening came up at the House of Assembly today. The Conservatives asked Environment Minister Graham Leto to explain his differences with his Liberal counterpart in Prince Edward Island. Well, yesterday, Richard Brown told us that Leto was dead wrong when he described PEI as moving too quickly to bring in a ban. And he went so far as to advise Leto to do the same thing in this province because that's what people want. Now, Leto says he stands by his claim that PEI did not do enough consultations, and he doesn't want to make that mistake.
Mr. Speaker, I have no intentions of getting into an argument with the Environment Minister in PEI. Municipalities of this province have the authority today to implement a ban if they so wish. We are looking at implementing a province-wide ban, and we'll do just that. But we won't do it without making sure that we have the input from all our citizens, all our businesses, whether it's the CFIB or the Retail Council of Canada. We will do it through consultation.
The Liberals first raised the idea of banning checkout bags 3 years ago, and we'll have more on why the minister here insists that we need more consultations. That's in about 25 minutes.
Well, another absolutely beautiful day out there again today. Those temperatures in the single digits right across the board. 4 degrees in Terra Nova. It was your afternoon high today. Otherwise, we're seeing temperatures around 1 degree for Corner Brook, and then mild up through Labrador again today. Happy Valley Goose Bay reached a high near 1 degree this afternoon. Taking a look at the satellite and radar right across the board. Earlier today, we did see plenty of sunshine. That cloud cover has now moved in. It will move out as we head through the night tonight, which is certainly good news. But the next system is on the doorstep, especially up through Labrador. We're going to start to see that snow move in through the day tomorrow, mixed with ice pellets at times, and then things get messy for most of the island. I'll have all those details, your full forecast looking ahead to the weekend when I come back. Carolyn?
Thanks, Ashley. Well, Trent Butt's fate is now in the hands of a jury. The Carbonear man is charged with first-degree murder and arson following the death of his daughter Quinn in April 2016. Here Now's Mark Quinn has been following the case. So, Mark, what's the latest?
Well, Carolyn, about an hour ago, we got a call from the Supreme Court. They've told us the jury has been sequestered. They're back at the hotel. They've stopped deliberations for the day, and they will be back tomorrow to continue those deliberations. So there is no verdict today, and tomorrow they'll be back at those deliberations. So here's what I can tell you right now. Around 12:30 this afternoon, the jury began their deliberations. Trent Butt has pleaded guilty to arson, so the 12 jurors are considering the first-degree murder charge. And earlier today, they were given instructions from Judge Donald Burridge, and he said if Butt didn't intend to kill Quinn, it was manslaughter. But intended to kill Quinn, it was murder, and if the murder was planned and deliberate, it was first-degree murder. So first thing this morning, the jury heard final arguments from both the Crown and defense lawyers. The defense said the Crown has not proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Trent Butt committed a planned and deliberate murder, and the Crown said Butt's final words letter makes it clear that Quinn's murder was planned and deliberate. They said it was cold and calculating, and they said he did it to punish his former wife, Andrea Goss. So either way, Trent Butt has been scheduled to appear in court on the 23rd. He has pleaded guilty to an arson charge. That means he will be in court on the April 23rd for a sentence hearing on that charge, and we'll find out in the next coming days, maybe tomorrow, maybe later, what the jury believes in this case and what verdict they'll bring down. Live in St. John's, I'm Mark Quinn for Here and Now.
The Iron Ore Company of Canada says one person is still in hospital in Quebec City after yesterday's railway incident in Labrador. Now, the company isn't saying just what happened yesterday morning just outside of Labrador City. 4 people were initially sent to hospital. IOC won't say how serious those injuries are. The mining company says no trains were involved, but rather a piece of heavy machinery known as a rail changer, which is used in train track maintenance. Health and safety officers from the federal government are investigating that accident.
The provincial government is bringing back a probation tool for people convicted of crimes, and anti-violence advocates say it's a move in the right direction. The ankle bracelet program was discontinued in 2013, but will be back in the fall. Cease Hare reports.
A lot has changed since ankle bracelets were discontinued 6 years ago. Justice Minister Andrew Parsons says today's technology makes it easier to monitor the movement of offenders.
The technology has advanced such that exclusion zones can be programmed using GPS. And as you saw from the video there, an exclusion zone was programmed at motor vehicle registration in Mount Pearl, but exclusion zones can include victims' homes, their work, and because it allows for the tracking of offenders, it will be easier to prove that conditions were breached.
When they're reintroduced, the ankle bracelets will be used on those convicted of committing crimes, focusing on domestic abuse and intimate partner offenders. Anti-violence advocates applaud the return of electronic monitoring, saying it gives victims of abuse a greater sense of security.
Minister Parsons, you will give victims a freedom that most people take for granted. It's the freedom to not live in fear.
It is encouraging to see that the Department of Justice and Public Safety has recognized advocates' voices, that electronic monitoring is a useful tool to ensure a person's safety after leaving an abusive situation.
More changes are coming in corrections. Supervised bail is near, meaning no incarceration for some people on bail. Justice Minister Parsons says half of the inmates in this province are on remand awaiting trial, putting a strain on the system, and supervised bail will take some of that strain off. Cease Hare, CBC News, St. John's.
The provincial government and Eastern Health have quietly reached a settlement on a vicious case of child abuse. It's a story out of Clark's Beach that dates back to 2004. A woman was convicted of committing horrible acts of torture on her children, including beating them with a broomstick and forcing them to hurt each other. Now, 3 of the children sued the province for failing to step in. The Justice Department has confirmed that a settlement was made with 2 of those children last year, but it won't comment on just how much money was paid out.
The strange case of a man acquitted of selling Percocet in St. John's last month isn't resolved just yet. Crown prosecutors are appealing the acquittal of Shane Leonard. Leonard is a suspected Vikings gang associate who actually admitted in court to selling his prescription for Percocet. Leonard told the judge he didn't know the pills contained a controlled substance. He was found not guilty. Prosecutors Trevor Bridger and Elaine Reed say the judge failed to consider how willful blindness of the law factored into this case. They're asking the appeals court judges to find Leonard guilty.
We've talked a bit about the weather improvement. Well, Husky Energy says if that weather holds, crews should be able to recover a piece of equipment that's believed to be responsible for an oil spill off Newfoundland. Workers at the White Rose oil and gas field hope to begin at first light tomorrow. The flow line connector, as it's known, will be retrieved from the ocean floor. The company suspects that a small amount of oil will be spilled during this recovery, and there's a recovery plan in place just in case there's a bigger spill. If you remember, 250,000 liters spilled into the ocean in mid-November when the connector is believed to have failed.
When you're looking for information quickly, Wikipedia can be a handy tool.
And thanks to a group on the West Coast, you'll soon be seeing more women from this province on that website. Here now's Colleen Connors explains.
This group is learning how the famous online encyclopedia Wikipedia actually works, but also about the gender inequality in editors and content on the popular site.
The stats are about 10% of Wikipedia editors identify as women, so that's not very representational of the population.
Today, they're trying to change that by becoming wiki editors and writing articles on women from this province. Sabrina started here, with an artist that inspired her.
I found when I looked her up, she actually had no Wikipedia presence. So I contacted her and I said, would you be okay if I contributed a Wikipedia page for this event? And she responded really enthusiastically.
She's currently waiting on a final edit from a wiki editor before the article is published.
I actually use Wikipedia quite a bit, and when I first found out some of the statistics around Wikipedia and how few women are represented, I wanted to contribute to having a more accurate encyclopedia.
And that really is the goal of the Art and Feminism campaign here today.
Well, we hope to increase the amount of people that are editing and increase representation on Wikipedia. So we are really trying to push forward artists from all disciplines from across Newfoundland and Labrador that identify as women or non-binary.
Edits made during last year's event gained over 63,000 views on this online encyclopedia, and organizers here hope that today's event gains even more. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Corner Brook.
Some changes could be coming to the Go Bus program, which could affect the eligibility of some of the users. You can hear that story coming up on Here and Now.
Our update is brought to you by 811 Healthline. Medical advice, health information, mental health, and healthy eating. Dial 811. It's free and confidential.
Out with the dog early this morning. It was freezing, and then it just got warmer and warmer and sunnier, and it was a beautiful day here.
What a gorgeous day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I told you guys spring was here this week, and it certainly delivered, which is much welcome for most people. I could see people all over Twitter saying these are the days that we wait for, and certainly delivered today. So if you take a look at the temperatures, if you missed them a little bit earlier, these were your highs today, anywhere from 1 to 3 degrees across most of the island. St. Anthony a little cooler, down through Burgeo as well, and Stephenville sitting around -1. And then up through Labrador, those temperatures well above seasonal, sitting around 0 degrees for Lab City. Happy Valley, Goose Bay reached 1 degree this afternoon, so certainly a nice afternoon there. If we take a look at what we're seeing as far as current temperatures, dropped a couple of degrees, 1 degree right now in Corner Brook, and then sitting around 2 in St. John's. Those temperatures down to about 0 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay. But as we head through the night tonight, those temperatures are really going to dip, and that's because those skies are going to clear out. So we can see some clear skies, just some cloud cover pushing through, a little bit of cloud cover pushing through Labrador right now. And then for the island, we're going to see that cloud cover move out as we head through the evening tonight. And with that, it looks like those temperatures are really going to drop. It's into the overnight that we're going to start to see some snow move in, mainly for Lab West, and that will continue to push further east as we head through the morning hours on Friday. But overnight, those temperatures, like I said, dipping in lower lying areas down to the minus double digits. So Corner Brook -10 should be your overnight low. Grand Falls, Windsor -12. Gander sitting at -7. Can't rule out the chance of a few flurries in the first half of the evening, and then everything should clear up. Those winds generally light across the board, so that's nice through the night tonight. And then up through Labrador, as I mentioned, we're going to see that potential for flurries or light snow move in, especially for Lab City tonight. Going down to a low near -5 overnight. Those southeast winds 20, gusting 40, and then up through Nain should sit around -16. Now, heading through the day tomorrow, that's when the majority of that snow will push east. And then for Lab City, this is where things get a little bit messy because those temperatures are going to climb tomorrow. So we could see the potential for some ice pellets mixing in with that, which could bring accumulations down. But right now we're looking at a good bet of between 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. And then that big push of warm air moves in for the first half of the day, especially along the west coast where those temperatures could be hovering around the 0 degree mark into the evening hours. We could see this precipitation start as some freezing rain quickly transition through to rain. For the northern peninsula, it looks more of like a wintry mix, a transition from snow to rain. So here's a look at right now early model data. We're looking at about 10 to 15 centimeters, as I mentioned, for the area around Lab West. Churchill Falls could see about 15 to 20 centimeters, but we do have a wreck house wind warning in place with those winds gusting upwards of 100 kilometers per hour. This will happen tomorrow night, but the first half of the day tomorrow looks absolutely beautiful for anywhere in eastern Newfoundland. 4 to 5 degrees tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. Those winds will pick up towards the evening hours, and then this is when we start to get to things messy. So I have this in the forecast with the potential for some freezing rain. That won't happen until the evening hours. And then same thing for the west coast, but your temperatures are going to sit around 4 degrees through the afternoon rather. St. Anthony 0 degrees, and then up through Labrador, this is what you're looking at as far as temperatures go. Again, snow to start, transitioning through to potentially some ice pellets and then some freezing rain as well. But I'll have more details on your forecast because Saturday is when things get really messy. I'll have all those details coming up. Carolyn?
Thanks, Ashley. Well, a transit program for people with disabilities is under scrutiny in St. John's. City Council has asked a consulting firm to review the GO bus system, and some riders may lose their ability to board the bus. Here and Now's Meg Roberts has more.
As part of a reassessment of the GO bus program, the City of St. John's is taking a hard look at who's eligible to get on the bus. That's an attempt to lower the $3.9 million annual budget. The city says it's seen a substantial increase in the number of users in the past 5 years. And with each ride costing the city a little over $24, it's looking at reassessing all of the current users.
We're trying to ensure we have a sustainable service for the people that need that service. So what we're worried about is that without a proper assessment process in place for existing riders and new riders, that the system will get over capacity, and therefore the people that really need that ride won't have access to it.
A consultant recommends the city bring in a third party to review who's eligible to ride. Other recommendations include tightening on no-shows, letting a person cancel their ride up to 45 minutes beforehand instead of the current 90-minute window. Some may lose their right to ride altogether. This CNIB advocate says some of her clients are nervous about potentially having to use public transit. But should that happen, she says her organization is still in support of the recommendations.
That transitioning from paratransport over to public transportation, I think, will be a real learning curve, because we're always encouraging our clients to be as independent as possible. It's very clear to us that the system does need a process. It does need to be evaluated, which, as I said, is quite standard in any jurisdiction across the country. So, yeah, I applaud what they're doing.
For those who might lose their Go Bus pass, the city says there will be a transition period where people with disabilities will be introduced to the public transit system. Now, the changes will not be immediate. The recommendations will be discussed at an upcoming committee meeting held on March 20th, and that decision will go to council at a later date. Meg Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
I am proud and grateful to have had the opportunity to represent the voters of St. John's East, Kitividi, and the predecessor district of Signal Hill, Kitividi, for 13 years.
Lorraine Michael says it is time for change, and with a hug to the new leader of the party, the longtime MHA says she's stepping aside for her leader.
More on the NDP shuffle next.
Welcome back. Well, after 13 years in politics, former NDP leader Lorraine Michael announced today she will not run in this year's provincial election. So the new leader, Alison Coffin, can run in her district of St. John's East Kitivity. I spoke with Lorraine Michael about that decision this afternoon.
I had mixed feelings today. Obviously, my emotions were mixed. I love doing the work that I do, and I'm still quite capable of continuing to do that. But the party for me has always been number one, and I think it's very, very important for the party that our leader is in the House of Assembly, and I want to try to make that happen.
So there was some behind-the-scenes strategizing with this decision, but did you feel any pressure from the party to step aside?
Not pressure from the party. Everybody all said the same thing. This is your decision to make. We can't make this decision, so it's for you to make. And I didn't make it under pressure. I did not. And it's not an unusual thing to happen. We've had this happen in this province before, where a leader needed somebody to step down so the leader could, get elected. And I just think that's so important. We work as a team, and I worked with the team. And the decision we made was the team decision, but with my giving the leadership to that decision.
But it wasn't very long ago that you were saying that you were going to run when Sheila O'Leary came out and said that she wanted your seat. That you seemed ready for a fight then. What changed?
I still am. The fight now is getting my leader elected. It's still a fight. It's going to take all the energy to do that. I'm not taking anything for granted, and I've promised our leader I'll be there every step of the way with her from now until the day of the general election. So there's a fight still on. I want our leader elected.
There was that clash with Sheila O'Leary not too long ago, and some people were asking, why she wasn't there today for this announcement, and CBC called her, asked her for a comment. She said, no comment. I'm just hearing about this now. I need to process this information. I'll get back to you. Why wasn't she there?
It had nothing to do with Sheila O'Leary. It had to do with the leader of our party and the current MHA. It had not a thing to do with Sheila O'Leary, so that's why she wasn't there today.
Some people are saying that it does look like a slight towards Sheila O'Leary, that it's kind of like she blindsided you by saying she wanted to come and run in your district, take your seat, and then you blindsided her by saying that you're going to actually step aside now for Alison Coffin. What do you say to
There's
that?
no blindsiding going on. We have a leader, and our leader was elected through our democratic process of the party. She wasn't handpicked. If Ms. O'Leary wanted to be in that position, she could have run for the leadership of the party, but she didn't. Want the truth? Sure, I would have taken her on in a contest for nomination. But it's more important that I make sure that our leader get elected. That's where I am, and that's an honest answer. The landscape changed from when Sheila O'Leary started going around telling people she was going to run for the nomination. Everything has changed. And that's what my decision was based on, a whole new context, a whole new changed landscape.
It has been a tumultuous few years for the party. You referenced that this morning. We had the caucus revolt, and Earl McCurdy didn't win his seat, and now Jerry Rogers stepping down, and now this. How does the NDP move forward and find a way to stabilize itself?
Well, first of all, we get our leader elected. We get our leader into the House of Assembly. That's extremely important. We move forward for the election. We use the election as the time of getting ourselves together. I'm the chair of the candidate search committee, which I'll continue doing, and it's going to be very important for us to continue what we're doing with regard to getting candidates. We have quite a number of people who are saying they're interested, especially in the greater St. John's area. We're starting now to hear committed people from outside of the St. John's area. So I think that's going to be an important moment for us, getting our candidates in place. And, we aren't in disarray. We are not in disarray. I know what it's like as a leader to have divided people behind you. I don't want that for our new leader. I want unity for our new leader. And so I'm calling on our members to do that and to see that what I'm doing is part of wanting to get unity in the party.
With the loss of you and Jerry Rogers, there's a loss of experience. Yes. There's no incumbent that will be running in the election. Do you have any concerns about that?
I won't say I have concerns. I think we have a challenge. But again, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to stay where I am in terms of being there for the leader.
So you know what's going to be happening as we head into the election. You know you're going to be helping Alison Coffin try to win that seat. But then what? What are you going to do?
Oh, I don't know. Anthony Germain thinks I'm going to spend the rest of my time playing Scrabble.
And I'm sure he'd be delighted to take you on.
And I'll be delighted to take him on. My next battle after the general election will be beating Anthony Germain every time I play Scrabble.
Oh, we can always hope. Yeah, I mean, Lorraine Michael and I both go to a charity fundraiser. It's a Scrabble tournament, so we have battled there. Retiree, 7-letter word there, Ms. Michael. You can spell that one. So she's in charge of the candidate search,
She is.
said?
She did say that. Interesting.
So Sheila O'Leary is going to have to send Lorraine Michael the resume to where she's going. Very interesting days ahead for the NDP, so stay tuned.
Absolutely.
Also with politics, the long wait for a ban on plastic bags in this province came up in the House of Assembly today. This after Here and Now spoke with PEI's Minister of the Environment, Richard Brown, last night. Now, Brown contradicted this province's minister, Graham Leto, who claimed that PEI moved too quickly to bring in a ban. And that ban comes into effect this July, while here we are doing more consultations. I asked the minister to clarify his remarks today, right after question period.
Mr. Germain, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent.
Excellent. So, Mr. Leto, when you told us that PEI moved too quickly, were you telling us the truth?
Absolutely.
And on
you said it in your own report that they had to delay 6 months for the implementation. And it's because, and I've talked to the Retail Council, I've talked to other people, that the proper consultation wasn't done. They wanted to have more consultation before they would implement the ban. That's all we're saying.
But why are you taking the side of the plastic industry instead of a government that's actually taking action?
I am not taking the side of anybody. I want to do this, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but I want to do this.
The ban?
The ban.
Okay.
I want to do this.
So why bother with 3 weeks?
What I'm trying to do is trying to avoid what happened in PEI, for instance. When I bring in my bill, I want to make sure that the proper consultation was done and that we have all the information that we need. We're talking about a 3-week point, period of time.
So what can that possibly add?
Well, I tell you what it can possibly add. We've seen a record number of responses to the survey. We're going to take that information and we're going to make sure that we have not missed anything and that everybody's concerns are looked after. That's all we're doing. It's a 3-week period where we want to make sure, we want to ensure that we have all the information that we need. We want to do this.
Liberals brought this up 3 years ago. How is it possible, Mr. Leto, that 3 years is not enough time to deal with something like a ban on bags of the cashier's checkout?
Yeah, and I understand that.
It's 3 years.
I can't speak for past ministers. As I told you before, when I became minister in November, the first or second day I was in the office, I said to my officials, I want to look at this ban. I want to do it. And that's all. And since then, we've been looking at all the information. I had to get myself up to speed in the work that was done. We met with stakeholders back in September, not so long ago. And what came out of that session was that we need more consultations. All I'm doing is doing what the stakeholders asked us to do.
So if these consultations tell you need more consultations, you're going to have more consultations?
I think we're going to be in a position, these consultations, with the information that we have, and that the information that I get back through this 3 week of consultations will be enough for us to make a decision. That's all I'm saying.
A new $80,000 tool to help search for missing people. I'll tell you how this drone can help save lives coming up on Here and Now.
Meet Caleb.
I blame the doctors for it. I blame God. I was mad about the things that I didn't say and what, things I could go back and change, the memories that we never got to make.
Listen up. Thursdays on your local CBC morning show.
Welcome back to Here and Now. When a person goes missing, rovers, search and rescue, are usually called to come in to help with the search, and now that group has a new piece of equipment that should make that search faster and much more efficient. Joining me now is Harry Blackmore, the project coordinator with Rover Search and Rescue. So Harry, tell me about this machine.
Well, this is a new piece of equipment we have that has a zoom camera on it. It also has an infrared camera, which is a big thing for us in the night time. And it makes it really good for us, especially if we're looking for vulnerable people, that bigger helicopters and everything else will make them run away. This is nice and quiet. It brings it in. It streams everything back to our command post so we can see exactly what's on the ground while we're doing it, and it hopefully will cut down on time and find the person that we're looking for really quick.
And what made you realize that getting a drone would be a very helpful thing for the rovers to have?
Well, when we started, it was due basically because of a autistic young person we were looking for. As the night came on, darkness set in, we knew infrared would pick him up. Right now in the province, there is no other helicopter with infrared. So we said, okay, this is something that we're going to need. This is going to happen more often for us. We've been here in Acton looking for people with Alzheimer's 2 or 3 times. And same thing, it'll pick them up really quick for us. So we decided that yes, we were going to get it. Now we could have went and bought a $5,000 one, but it wouldn't do what we wanted. So this machine here is worth $80,000. And thanks to all the people in the community and municipalities, we came to fruition. Within 2 months we had the money and put up, but it's a great piece of technology and it's one of the tops in the island right now. Not that the helicopters will never be used, because they will. They're in for the part. This is just another tool in our toolbox. And the technology that's with it is what we needed. The cameras are the big thing. The drone itself is a drone, but what's underneath it is what counts.
And describe what's different about this drone compared to your typical drone. What enhancements does this have for searching?
Well, this drone has 2 cameras. One is an optical zoom camera, one is infrared. Like, we're here in Paradise right now, and we can zoom in on Brigus with our zoom camera and actually count the houses over there. And in the night time, we can take our infrared camera. And the big thing about this infrared camera, once we pick somebody up and we can find them, we just hit a button on the drone controller, and that camera then will follow him wherever he goes, so, or her. And that way we can actually send our team in really quick, get them and get them out.
What kind of a difference is this going to make for the rovers?
Well, we hope it's going to make a big difference to us. We do have tried it in some scenarios with ourselves, and if we're there quick enough, I think it'll make a big difference to the person we're looking for. And that's what this is all about, is to be able to bring somebody home safe and sound to their loved one. And that's what gives you the joy of doing search and rescue and a piece of equipment like this.
It could save a life.
It definitely can save lives. Another thing that it can do, especially with our rugged coastline, when you're looking over the edge of cliffs trying to find somebody, it's hard. Now we can put this thing down, water level basically, zoom up and down the cliff, and go ahead and use it that way and find people quicker.
Have you had a chance to test this out at all yet?
No, we haven't had a chance yet. We had one call a little while ago that we thought we were going to, but as we got there, the police had already found a person, so we didn't get to use it. And so we're just waiting. Hope we don't have to use it. Hope he's only in practice, but we know very well that it will happen. Right. And we average 20 to 25 calls a year here in this area alone. But we can also now assist teams in Holyrood, Bay Roberts, Clarendale, anywhere at all. We just go there, take our pilots and send them with us. So it's all done under Transport Canada rules and regulations. We have our own 2 pilots along with some police pilots, so it works out good.
All right, Harry Blackmore, thank you so much for talking to us about it.
Thank you very much.
It's fantastic technology, right? But especially the ability to actually look for people at night so simply with the infrared feature. I mean,
yeah, before that they would have to call off the search when it gets dark, but
Yeah.
now they can continue on. It seems like it'll make a big difference.
Fantastic. All right, well, here's another view that you don't see every day. A Toronto man that just might be the luckiest driver alive. A few terrifying seconds earlier this week when a plane almost hit him.
Literally just passed me,
and I had like a second to brake and swerve, and then the plane already crossed me.
So this flashed before Bill Chan's eyes on a routine drive Tuesday afternoon. Here it is again. Whoa. Now, in case you blinked and missed that, and amazingly, Chan escaped, isn't that incredible, unharmed. Luckily, the pilot and the passenger, they weren't hurt either. It's hard to imagine when you look at this wreck on the side of the highway. You know, officials suspect that a runway excursion, which in real English means the plane overshot the runway. Well, immediately afterward, Chan bought $300 in lottery tickets, hoping his luck would last.
Like you would.
Yep.
Wow. Incredible. Well, still with aviation news, Ottawa's decision to ground Boeing's 737 MAX 8 and 9 airplanes is taking a toll on Canadian airlines and passengers. As many as 13,000 people per day have had their flights canceled by Air Canada, WestJet, and Sunwing, and rebooking all of them may not be complete until next week.
Unfortunately, it's one of the busiest travel times for us in Canada because of March break. So it does put an extra amount of pressure on trying to reaccommodate probably a lot more travelers during this season than what it would typically be if it was, say, off season. But you know, it's going a lot smoother than we anticipated, so that's a good thing.
Despite any inconvenience, many travelers say they're relieved the 737 MAX planes have been taken out of service. 18 Canadians were among the 157 people killed when one of those planes went down in Ethiopia on Sunday. The cause of the crash still isn't known, but the data recorders from the plane have now arrived in France for analysis. One, however, is damaged, so it could take days or even weeks to retrieve its information.
Hey, Chrissy. Hey, you ready to go for our big night out? What's going on? I thought we were going out.
It's freezing out.
It's winter. Come on, aren't you ready? We talked about this. I've got dinner reservations, tickets to the show. It's time to go. Come on, let's get the stink of house off you.
All right, bye.
Tune in to the St. John's Morning Show to win restaurant vouchers, tickets, and other things that'll force you to leave the house.
Come on, we're going to be late, Chrissy.
Nice out.
Yes, come on, I gotta get the stinker house off you.
This weather update is brought to you by Beltone, helping the world hear better.
Oh, that just cracks me up.
Every time.
So today's Thursday, so that means that it is Weather Whisket Day.
It is. So our newest member today is Abigail Murphy Woodford.
Nice name.
It is a beautiful name, and she drew this wonderful photo. She's 6 years old from Mount Pearl, and it says, "Do not worry, winter is almost done, but it's fun."
Good point.
She's totally right there. And there is her picture there.
Oh,
There's little Abigail.
There's pigtails.
Yeah.
Unicorns.
So cute.
And I hope you're right about it being done.
Certainly
but
felt
kid,
like it.
I've got my doubts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are looking at another system moving through, but if you do want to be if you want to be part of our Weather Whiz Kid Club, send us your drawing, your photo, your address, and how old you are, and send it to nlphotos@cbc.ca, and we'll get you on.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday's going to be messy, you said earlier.
Yeah, Saturday's going to be messy, and if we take a look at what the system that's responsible for it, yesterday we saw it hasn't really moved much, but we're seeing some pretty significant thunderstorms with this system. But as that continues to move further north, that's when we're really going to see that push of warm air. We can see it here. This takes us through Friday night. So we can see all of that rain moving in. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, it does look like on the west coast things could potentially start off as freezing rain. For the northern peninsula, though, snow to rain mixture, along with that potential for some freezing rain. Along the northeast coast as well is where we could see that. Otherwise, it's going to be heavy rain as we head through the day on Saturday, heading towards the Avalon as well with that big push of warm air. And then in behind it, we get back into that colder flow, which means everything will change back over to snow. So here's a look at the temperatures as your daytime high for Saturday. Happy Valley Goose Bay should reach a high near 6 degrees, above 0 for Lab City as well, sitting around +2. Otherwise, 5 degrees for Cartwright, and then temperatures between 4 to 7 degrees, could potentially even reach upwards of about 8 degrees through the afternoon on Saturday. And along with that, we will see that rain. So here's an early indication of what's going to happen as far as the European model is predicting. So it's showing a bullseye, which most models are pointing at between Burgeo and the Conagra Peninsula. I'm saying more than likely between 30 to 50 millimeters of rain by the time Sunday morning rolls around. Otherwise, we are looking at a good 10 to 20 millimeters for most of the island, and then up through the northern peninsula. As I mentioned, we'll see that transition from snow to rain, so they'll bring those rainfall totals down closer to more than likely 5 to 10 millimeters into the afternoon. So heading into overnight Saturday into Sunday, again, I showed you that we will see that drop in temperature. So we're getting back to those seasonal temperatures, even more below seasonal through the end of the weekend, especially up through Labrador. So we're going to continue to see that snow into the overnight into Monday, and then continue right through Tuesday even through the afternoon, and that's because that system is slow moving and wrapping around that cold air with it. But overall, by the time we get into midweek next week, things look like they should settle down a little bit. So here's a look at the forecast over the next 5 days for St. John's and Eastern Newfoundland. 4 degrees tomorrow. Most of Eastern Newfoundland should be absolutely beautiful. Saturday, 5 to 15 millimeters of rain. Those winds will pick up right across the board for Saturday, and then Sunday clearing with breezy conditions continuing though, but staying above 0. Really won't see those temperatures drop until the overnight, and then Tuesday that potential for some flurries. Now for central Newfoundland, we're looking at the same thing, 7 degrees on Saturday with rain and windy conditions, potentially starting as freezing rain in the overnight, and then sunshine as we head into Tuesday as well. But see those overnight lows dipping into the minus teens again. Western Newfoundland, same thing, starting as potentially freezing rain in the evening hours, changing over to rain as those temperatures climb to 6 degrees on Saturday. But those windy conditions continuing, and then onshore flurries right through Tuesday with those temperatures in the minus single digits. Now for Eastern Labrador, for Happy Valley Goose Bay, 5 to 10 centimeters. Towards the coast, we're looking at closer to 2 to 5. And then again, that potential to change over to rain through the afternoon. Same thing on Saturday. There's your high, 6 degrees, and then dipping down in the overnights to the minus teens by the time next week rolls around. And then much of the same for Western Labrador, closer to 10 to 15 centimeters, and then flurries right through Monday. So just before we go to break, wanted to share our weather photo with you today. This one taken along the northeast coast. Any idea where?
Oh, I don't know. It's a lovely photo, though. Sort of some of the water partially freezing.
It is, yeah.
Great shot.
It is a great shot. I'll tell you where this photo was taken and who took it when we come back.
Welcome back to Here Now. A Manitoba artist is turning heads with his provocative short film.
Yes, his inspiration, the life and death of flowers, fruit, and flesh.
It's actually quite stunning. Winnipeg filmmaker Joel Penner uses multiple cameras, scanners, and time-lapse video to capture nature as it blooms and fades. And some of his work on decaying animals, and reptiles and other roadkill have been actually featured in National Geographic documentaries.
Wow, it is beautiful. Penner isn't bothered or squeamish about death, dying, or decomposition. He says, he calls it the cycle of life. He says, all nature is beautiful and we should cherish it at all stages. Oh, lovely.
Pretty catchy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this year's mild California winter is proving to be a virtual butterfly feast.
Check this out.
An early spring has led to an explosion of wildflowers along the coast, and it's a feast for the eyes.
And for millions of what are called painted lady butterflies, swarms of these dainty-looking insects come north from Mexico to feed and breed. What else are you going to do on a Thursday night? Botanists call this the best wildflower growth in several years. And people who feel the waves of painted ladies flash by just call it simply magical.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I would love to be there.
I knew that the insect lady in you was going to come out. You got to stay loyal to bees.
I am, don't worry.
Bees.
Bees. Well, here's another beautiful photo. There's your weather photo for the day today. Talked about it being on the northeast coast. It was taken in Twillingate.
Oh,
yeah.
Gorgeous Twillingate.
Beautiful shot there. Thank you so much to Debbie Butt for sending that in. If you have any weather photos you'd like to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye. Calm day in Twillingate, you know.